In a world that sees you as ordinary, plain, or just average, know that at home, to the ones that call you dad, you can be seen as so much more. Even like a superhero. This is Ordinary Dad. Hey guys, what is going on?
What's up?
Welcome to the Ordinary Dad YouTube channel. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Tim.
And we are the Ordinary Dads here for you today. And our topic of conversation for today.
We are talking about money. We're
That's
doing money
right.
talks. Like, we're going to talk about it from a kid's perspective. We're going to talk about it from a parenting perspective.
Just like the goals that we might have for our kids and everything else like that.
Yeah. Also, like what a kid's view of money is.
Yes,
Like, you know,
yeah,
that's a huge
definitely.
one.
Yeah.
I want to kind of preface all of this by saying, like, neither one of us are financial wizards.
No, we are not. We're
we
not
should call
professionals.
This. We should call this the debt management talk.
Yeah.
Like,
disclaimer right now.
So, but it's something that comes up a lot, I think, as especially as parents.
Absolutely.
Money is one of those big
Yeah.
things, and then you know, how do you instill like the importance of it, but not let it be like this all-consuming thing for your kids either.
Exactly.
Too. Like, to kind of set them up.
Because unfortunately, money is one of those things that no matter how we look at it, you know, it's the thing that we need in life to get by, to do things.
Capitalism.
But at the same time, like it's such a burden because it like that's one of the top reasons, like, you know, husbands and wives fight and everything else like that too.
It's
and
huge.
then you try to kind of instill it to your kids.
Yep.
But at the same time, you almost don't want to talk about it in front of your kids either because you don't want them to worry about that because you shouldn't have to worry about that at that age too.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. No,
So,
that's good.
But
So,
what's funny is,
thank you guys for being here. Click and subscribe below if you haven't already. We'd love to have you do that and follow along with us, and we're going to start talking about money. So,
and absolutely. And if you guys absolutely like what we're doing here, we'd appreciate it if you'd share it to others as well.
Please.
So, so one of the first things to really, get it started, I think, is really the kids' concept of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
zero.
they have zero
to put it in
clue.
a number.
Yeah, they just,
it's so
I think
funny.
they don't get it because I think it comes down to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
well, one, you look at it, anytime a kid talks about numbers, it's funny, like, oh, well, that's like the kabillionth time you've done that. And it's like, no, that's not quite, you know, that far.
Yep.
But, like, they just don't have the concept because, you know, we take care of that for them, you know? We kind of sit there and we might know, oh, we can't do that today, but we're not going to say, like, oh, you know, that's not going on today because of this, you know?
Yep, exactly. It's one of those things too. I think with especially like vacations and stuff like that. Like that's something we've talked about a couple times. Is like, you know, the girls love going to this one water park that's up near where we go on vacation regularly, and it's. I mean, we're able to do it, but it's the kind of thing where it's like it could easily turn into like hundreds of dollars. Like go. You know what I mean?
It's ridiculous.
And it's that kind of thing where you want to weigh like your kids' like emotional like reaction with like financial reality, and
where's the cost really gonna come in for all
exactly of that? Yeah, but you know, I think like as parents, as fathers, like we want to be good fathers, we want to give good gifts and stuff like that, and like obviously
I also think one of those parental goals I know that I've talked about, like my wife and I have had this conversation, I'm sure you probably have too, is you look at how you grew up and you almost want it to be a better experience for your child. You know, and not saying that, you know, growing up was hard or anything like that, but experiences were definitely different back then, and we want to be able to, you know, maybe certain opportunities that we didn't have, we'd like to kind of see if we can do that for them. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's interesting what you hit on there. Like I'm trying to think back. Like I was just doing this the other day, like with my parents, and like how they restricted like the amount of like TV and like I don't think they paid for cable. Like when I'm thinking back in my mind, it was like it was a lot of movies and a lot of like like screens and stuff like that. So it's interesting now thinking about that, and like now I'm you know Amazon Prime and Netflix and like all these other things that like my kids have access to that I didn't necessarily have.
And it's all like and that's the thing now is like with tablets and everything else. They're so everything, all that stuff is so much easily accessible, and like it's like. The kids don't even understand how easy they have it in a car ride now. Because they can sit there and, you know, you have to sit in the back. Do you remember like that little game that you'd sit there and you'd play?
Oh, yeah.
And it was that same look. No, not even. It was like the little map. Like it turned on and it would light up in the background a little bit. But it'd just be that map that would keep moving. And the car would only literally just do this.
Oh, my gosh.
Like it was just fixed. And you're like,
awesome.
And that was my entertainment for
I love it. Did you ever play
drive.
the game like on a long ride where like you're like side scrolling as a Mario character. You're jumping over like the telephone poles and stuff like that, and you keep going. I don't know. That's what I do on car rides. But
yeah,
we're old. We're dating ourselves, and we're getting off topic.
But I mean, the reality of it though is that kids really just don't have a concept of money as they start, because they see something that they want and they want it. Which, I mean, obviously, as you get older, the same concept is always there. You see something, but you realize that you have to work for it to get what you want.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So that's one of those things. Trying to instill in our kids like an idea of like an allowance kind of thing, or like you do this and then you're allowed to do that. As far as money goes, just one last note on kids' concept of money. I thought was kind of interesting. Is what has your kid ever broken an iPad or like a tablet?
He has, actually. Yeah. And we told him, we're like, that's... Well, and the poor kid, like, it wasn't his fault. He actually, he had an ear infection, right? And amoxicillin does not work. So we have to tell the doctor, like, anytime, like, you have to go right to Augmentin. And that stuff is straight chalk. You know, it's awful. So he went and we're like, come on, dude, just... And he, like... He took it and just like did that little deal, and it got in the charging port. And we were like, oh,
that sucks.
And like that was But we actually we just never kind of replaced them. But we did have to come across it.
Yeah.
It's out of contract. You know, it's like that kind of thing.
Oh, it's tons of fun. It's tons of fun.
So like what it comes down to, so is like really what are you trying to almost like instill with your kids in trying to teach
talk
them
about
that concept
money and
of
stuff.
money.
Yeah, I think like with our kids, we're trying to really give them the attitude that like money is like a tool. You know what I mean? You can kind of use it for this, you can use it for that. But a big part of it is we try to really like give a bunch, if that makes sense. Like we try and help people out. We try and do, and it might not necessarily be money. It might be like this or that or food or something like that. But like just trying to put that into them that like money isn't like the end all be all of everything. I think about that with Gillian and I's, my wife and I's career. It's like it's not like we're out there trying to be like the next big entrepreneur to become like take over, but we're trying to like provide enough for our kids for them to be able to see that and continue doing that for their kids.
And I know like what we're trying to teach our son is mainly like when he does get some money or he does get something, it's like, listen, you've earned what you've gotten, so that's great, and I know you want to do stuff with it. So why don't we take, like, say you get $20 for something, let's take $10 and you can use it for what you want to do, and then the other 10 is going to go in the bank. Which is a concept I know I definitely didn't have growing up. I pretty much I like that, I'm going to buy it. But that's one of those things that as you get older you learn, and you kind of hope that maybe you can prevent. You're not going to prevent obviously everything with your children, but like hopefully you can sit there and you can take it and be able to instill that in your kid to hope that hopefully help them realize. But like I know it was cool, like you were talking about like kind of like donation thing, and Gavin actually came across like some things kind of happened, and some money kind of went toward his favor, and he was like, all right, cool, and it's from like holidays and stuff like that, and he found, like, with the amount that he was able to get, that he's like, the first thing he actually said before anything else was, would it be okay if I donated some of this? And we're like, cool. Dude, like that's awesome. Like that's like that exactly, like pulling at the heartstrings, like, dang kid, how'd you get like this?
That's awesome.
And it's so cool, like, to see them do that. And I feel like you see that. I mean, obviously, kids have a stingy tendency, like, to begin with, like, especially as they're younger, they don't want to share their toys because it's
selfish.
And I think they start off that, and they learn different things. But it's cool. I feel like you see a big influx of different kids nowadays that really want to help. And do a lot more. And I think it's cool that, like, if they can even look at that, start looking at that, in that financial. Not that they're not thinking about the money in the long term thing, but they're like, you know what, I have this little bit extra, I'd like to try to help somebody. And that's an awesome way to look at it.
That's huge. I mean, that kind of stuff like that, and they'll remember that stuff. Like, I think about like GoFundMe's, like, and if there's a GoFundMe up, a lot of times it's for like, like a classmate or like a family member or something, like something bad has happened for like a GoFundMe to have. Like absolutely. The idea that kids can give or donate and help out in that way is huge, and it's awesome. And I think it kind of puts money in a better perspective maybe than just like, I want a new video game. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
which still happens.
No, and that's fine. That's good. But so financial goals too is something like we were talking about. Like, what kind of goals do you want to set, like for your kids, or like do you want to set for yourself? Like, I feel like we've never been good with like a 5-year or like a 10-year plan. But
yeah,
like
just kind of like going through the motion.
Yeah, but you kind of have
to
to. Like when you start thinking about college, you start thinking about cars and stuff
because
like that.
the time goes by faster than you think. What is it? They sit there and say what the days are long, but the years go fast.
Yeah,
and I think that's true. Like especially like for our school system now. Like next year, 5th grade is now middle school.
Yeah.
Like we were discussing this, how we thought we were gonna have that extra year.
Yeah.
Before
it's
now
nuts.
we have this middle schooler.
It's nuts.
And so it's like, okay, well now he's already getting to
Yeah.
that point now, and before you know it, like after middle school is high school.
Yep.
You know, and then after high school is college, and
Yep.
then they're kind of, you're hoping that you've instilled enough that when they go out on their own, you know what I mean? Which is, it's crazy to think about from this standpoint because we still have time, but
Yeah.
we don't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's crazy to think
Yeah.
about. You try to enjoy the moment, but
It goes
you have
quick
to think
for
about
sure.
everything else.
For sure, and like it's crazy because like I don't know, maybe it's like a guy like dad thing, but like I start thinking about like, all right, like we got to get debts and payments down here so we can start throwing money into this to start saving that up, and like what do you do if you get
until you sit there and you're like, oh, we need to do this, but
yeah,
ooh, we could really do this as a family.
Yeah,
and that's
dude,
what's tough too is like as much as you want to
preach
to go on for your family and you want to set these things up, it's like you have to have that family time.
Yeah.
You have to do like unfortunately like
Yep.
at the end of the day you can't just sit there and be like, oh, we're reading this book today.
Yeah.
And like that's going to contain us for the week. You're like, no, like sometimes you have to go out and do these different things as a family. Take those trips and because at the end of the day money is money, whatever, but the memories are what's going to come out of that, and that's that's what's important too. So you got to be smart with everything.
Definitely.
But
Definitely.
like you
Such
have
a
to
balance.
make sure, the balance is.
What about as far as like cars and stuff like that? Did your parents help you with your first car? Like how did that go down?
So my first car, I remember, I was a stock boy at a supermarket, and that's how I started saving up my money.
Yep.
And then I worked at a day camp. All through high school and everything else like that. So I started saving a little bit of money here and there. And then I remember that my dad, somebody my dad was working with at the time, had his '87 Chevy Nova that had like 140,000 miles on it.
Awesome.
That the guy's like, yeah, $500, it's yours. And I was like, boom, threw the cash down.
That's
and
awesome.
And it was such an awesome. And my dad's like, I'll pay. We'll do the insurance.
Yep.
But. Yep. You buy your car, and so I did that, and it was such an awesome feeling.
That's so cool.
Buying that first car, and of course they helped kind of with gas and stuff like that. But then again, back in that day too, with gas, we could scrape
gas
change.
Prices.
We could scrape change from inside the seat and be able to go for the week.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, so I mean, we ended up doing that, and I remember, like I said, I bought it, and I thought that that was just like the coolest thing in the world. Was that I did. What about you? Like, how did that pan out? You got siblings too. Like I was the only one.
Exactly.
So like it might have been a little easier, but
I just inherited like the crappy car that my sister was driving. You know what I mean? When she got like her first car, and it just kept on handing down like that. Yeah. Which was neat, but it's funny. You brought up the idea of insurance. Like I can't even explain money well to my kids. Like how the heck am I going to explain insurance to them?
Well, we have a little bit of time, so hopefully by the time we get there,
I love it. I love it. But yeah, no, like thinking about college, like I'd love for like my girls to not have debt as a part of college. Like obviously, you know what I mean? You want to like push them and get as much scholarship kind of stuff as you can. And hopefully, something will happen between now and when they go to college where it won't be so ridiculously expensive. But like it's just crazy, like even people like our age like still having their student loan debts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know, like my wife is, I mean, you figure it's like she's still paying. It's funny because you hit like these little milestones with paying it, and you're like, yes, only this much time left. But yeah, like and we've had that same talk, and like we want to be able to set him up, and obviously like one of those things too is like we sit there and we try to discuss like it's hard at this age to say like what do you want to do, because when you ask a kid what they want to do at this age, they all want to be a fireman, a policeman, they want to be an astronaut and everything.
I want to be a YouTuber.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm on YouTube
when I grow up,
I'll be Mr. Beast, but better.
But like, so they all have those typical responses of army, police, this and that. These people that are held as, like they see as heroes and everything else. And we were, I know I was the same way.
Yep.
So with that, we sit there and we start to ask them the little questions like, have you ever thought of like a trade? Like an electrician, a plumber.
Yep.
These jobs that
Yeah.
you might not necessarily end up like they take hours and hours to get there.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? You won't necessarily end up with 40, 50, 60, 70, if not more in that student loan debt.
Crazy. Yeah. It's nuts. That's one goal, like, speaking of debt, that we've kind of set for ourselves, and it's awesome. We've been paying off, like, some credit cards and stuff like that, and it's so funny, like, how, like, I don't know, like, there was a point where, like, not that we didn't care, but it's just, like, it was so easy to, like, just swipe and be like, oh, I'm getting rewards points.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So trying to, like, definitely steer our kids away from that mentality, because, like, I mean, those credit card companies, they're just sharks, man.
Oh, dude, it's
no
awful.
offense to any credit card people, but
No,
they're terrible.
but when you look at it, I mean, when you start, everything is great because it's like, 0% for this long.
Yep.
But then it's over such a time that if you don't monitor it, that 0% all of a sudden turns into like 19 point something.
Oh, ridiculous.
And you're like, if you pay, I saw something, if you try to just do the minimum payment, like it takes like so many years
Forever.
to pay it off.
Yep.
It's like ridiculous.
Yep.
Where if you were just throw a little bit extra toward it, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I get it. It's hard. Not everybody can do it.
And that's kind of what we were doing is we started like this snowball kind of thing. So we paid off like the lowest one, like as soon as we could, boom. And
take
then
that money and then
and you kind of flip it like that. So
Yep.
if nobody's doing that, take note. That's the way to get out of debt.
So-
That's one thing you can do to help your kids for sure.
Yeah.
Just to not be throwing away chunks of change.
Obviously, so that's all the stuff for like the future and stuff like that. But if we have to take a look at like things kind of like right now, like in the Norman household, like this is what we have going on.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys give like the girls responsibilities as far as like, oh, these are chores and like with like allowances and stuff like that?
Sure.
Or do you kind of
right now it's
and
more
how
just,
good are they with it? That's
man,
the
dude,
thing.
They are all over the place. Some of it's really good.
Yeah.
We said, like you gotta keep your room clean. But I want to expand it. Like I want them to do the dishes. I want them to do the laundry. Like
I want them to do things that I have to do.
Exactly. They're getting to that age where they can do it, and I think that's where like we haven't really brought money into the conversation. It's just been like if you do that, then you'll be allowed to play a video game or like watch a movie or whatever.
Yeah, so the incentive is different.
Yeah, the incentive's different. But
worth.
like, to be able to do that kind of stuff, like, and have them like earn some change, like again, I want dishes, I want laundry done. If they do that, I will forever be happy.
Yeah,
like,
no,
that's
absolutely.
it, the little things. How about you guys?
So like we've told like listen, if you constantly do these things, then hey, we'll give you an allowance because he does. He asks for, like most kids, he plays Fortnite.
Yeah.
And especially any kid that went through this pandemic knows they probably play Fortnite.
Yep.
And
thousands of dollars.
he'll always be like, oh, could I get V-Bucks or could I do this and that? And we're like, well, did you do your chores? And he's like, and then he'll think if he does them that second, it's like, well, no, dude, like this is a weekly thing. You got to maintain it for a week, and we want him to keep his room clean, make his bed. He sleeps with like a noisemaker at night, so I'm like, dude, turn that off. Lift the blind to your room. And the little responsibility I've given him outside the room is like when you pull our trash out, there's two bins. So the front one's the trash, back one's like recyclables. Yep. So I'm like, you got to take the recyclable bin out and then go down and dump it in the garage. Like we have the bigger bins downstairs.
Yep.
So that hasn't happened in a while. I've been doing that.
It's
But therefore, like when he asks, we remind him.
Yep.
We're like, listen, this is it.
That's
so it's needless to say we've actually saved quite a bit of money not giving him an
That's
allowance lately.
That's awesome.
So,
a lot of that's like time management, like trying to teach that to your kids, where it's just like I don't know. I feel for my kids now because like they're finally back in school, so they come home, they're exhausted. You know what I mean? Like, and then like soccer started up, so life is basically over for like the next
especially
couple
because you guys
months.
are coaching too.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Like,
we're coaching 2 different nights, so we have a couple ideas about the Tooth Fairy that we're going to share with you guys in a very special video.
Yes.
Just kind of a teaser. Stay tuned.
Yes.
It's going to be good, but that's one idea we kind of wrote down as we were talking about money and kids and generating income.
Yeah,
Tooth Fairy, Grandma,
Tooth Fairy,
Christmas,
Grandma,
birthday.
Yeah, yes. No, definitely. So, but guys. So that's our whole talk really that we have on money, on our opinions on it anyway.
Yep.
Once again, strictly our opinions. We are not professionals by any means.
Yep.
we
But
have jobs outside.
Exactly,
of things.
exactly. We hope that you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
If you have any, please comment below if you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you thought we were stupid, if you have a great financial plan, like go ahead and comment below. We'd love to interact and get back with you guys.
And definitely, whatever else you'd like to maybe see us talk. If you enjoy how, if you watch our Facebook videos, and everything, and you enjoy how we interact, feel free to comment down below on something you'd like to see us talk about. If you think that it'd be kind of fun for us to do. We have a bunch of ideas for you guys, but the biggest thing is we want to give you guys what you want with this, and
Give the
and
people
have some fun. It's
exactly.
The customer is not always right.
Oh my God.
But that's okay.
Yeah, it's all
but
good.
no, we do have some great stuff coming up for you guys, though. Like you're saying, we have a few skits that are coming forward. We have some different interviews that tackle some hard topics, which you guys will definitely see in the future. We have a few going on right now. And what else? So some family stuff.
Yep.
Our whole thing is family and just being dads and speaking to the moms and dads out there.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
the
Just
stuff
trying
that
to
they go
encourage
through.
you guys. It's been a long pandemic. It seems like we're finally getting out of it. But
Yes.
yeah, check us out on socials. We got a whole bunch of social media stuff. And we'll see you guys next time.
All right, take care.